customer. Now if our demand is supposed to be 600 megawatt, and for 3 generator, if it is not defined how much power supposed to be fed over there, so any one of the generator can also fed 600 megawatt. But if it is defined for generator 1, it's supposed to be fed up to 0 to 300 or 100 to 300. For generator 2 is also something like that. That time a constraint came into the play. When there is no constraint, no limitation, no boundary is given, then it is we can say it is unconstrained optimizer algorithm. Unconstrained optimizer algorithm, there is no constraint is over there. And when this optimizer algorithm is solved based on certain terms and condition, these terms and condition are known as constraint here, and these constraint are segregated into two parts. One is equality constraint and another is inequality constraint. Equality constraint for a power system is supposed to be the balancing of active power. Balancing of active power, whatever the generation is over there, it's supposed to satisfy your demand along with its loss. So if we have to satisfy this equality constraint, and at the same time if we are supposed to satisfy the inequality constraint also. Now inequality constraint again, it's having two part. One is dependent variable and some are independent variable is also there. Now with the help of these two constraints, if we formulate the earlier problem whatever shown in equation number 1, it will be something look like this: f of x plus lambda of whatever the equality constraint is over there, L of x plus mu into g of x. Now here we converted all of these equality equation and inequality equation into a single optimization problem, and thereafter we are supposed to be solve the same problem. In first one it was unconstrained optimization. Right now the same problem become the constraint optimization problem. And how we can solve it? Generally for solving any optimizer algorithm, we can go on for the derivative based methods ideally, or that is known as a classical method. If here our whatever the decision variable is there with respect to our objective function, if we go on for the first order derivative and set this value as equal to 0, then we will identify the specific value for this decision variables. Based on that we can calculate it out the optimizer value. Now if we move ahead, actually how we can calculate it out? If it is our decision variable, those decision variable are deterministic or stochastic in nature. Based on that, based on the variables whatever is over there, based on that if I segregate, it can be segregated into two parts. One is deterministic variables, another is stochastic variable. Now this deterministic variable, we can solve the same problem based on whether the nature of the problem. If it is a linear programming, then we can utilize the linear programming or non-linear programming or quadratic programming or dynamic programming. These all are partially we can say it's a part of deterministic problem. Now here your variable may be with the types, it's maybe the different types, it's maybe the integer continuous variable, maybe it's a binary variable, continuous variable. So then also we can able to solve. We'll see it later on how we to solve such problem. And if it is uncertain in nature or based on stochasticity, then the same problem we can solve using heuristic or meta heuristic algorithm. Now again in meta heuristic algorithm, if we segregate, it can be classified into several parts. This is a few part I have shown. It can be some evolutionary algorithm such as a genetic algorithm. Holland has developed this algorithm. They are then differential equations. We can say it's a part of a genetic evolutionary algorithm rather than some meta-heuristic algorithm. This is based on gravitational search algorithm or black hole algorithm, or a few other algorithm is also there. One of the most popular method is based on that swarm based method. Swarm based method is mainly maybe we can say particle swarm optimizer, or any other algorithm, maybe ant colony, maybe some competitive swarm optimizer algorithm. These all are swarm based algorithm. A few algorithm is also developed based on social behavior, like teaching learning behavior, or MVP, most valuable player algorithm, and a few algorithms are there. And these all algorithms are not derivative based algorithm. Here initially what we did, we generate a random population, and based on those random population we calculate the fitness function. If this fitness function is close to and a certain value we will get, and a tolerance criteria we will set. If it is less than those tolerance criteria, we declare whatever our best objective function. But in derivative based method, here we gone for the derivative. Therefore sometime if your problem is too complex and it's not able to derivative, therefore it not able to get the exact solution. But heuristic method, you will get the near optimal solution. May not be exact, but it will work for all. It will work for all. So these are the a few types of classification. In heuristic algorithm also there is a certain thing called free lunch theorem. One algorithm may not be best for solving all of the problem. It's depend on the natures, types, and objective of the problem. Based on that it will work. Okay, and I move to next. It's okay, a comparison of an classical and meta heuristic algorithm. Actually it is not visible. It is features. Based on features we segregate is a classical and meta heuristic algorithm. Nature wise, this algorithm is providing us exact solution, and this algorithm philosophy is basically deterministic method, derivative based method. First order derivative we will go and we will get the exact solution, but here it is approximate solution. If it is approximate solution, and we can say it is stochastic in nature. Types of problem able to solve, definitely it is very good in solving the linear problem as well as for convex optimization problem, and which function is definitely differentiable, that is fine. But if it is not, then it will won't able to solve the same problem. Sometimes we may face a very larger computational time, which is again problematic. But here it can solve any types of problem, non-linear or linear, maybe combinational, maybe too much complex, but it will give you a approximate results. Coming to the computer complexity, yes, it is having certain problem based on the types of problem we are dealing, computational complexity, but it is comparably faster algorithm. Coming to the flexibility of this problem, it is problem specific. It's required certain modifications. We can't solve the same optimizer for all of the problem, but it is a general purpose. So we have this flexibility in meta heuristic algorithm. We can utilize this problem for all. May not give you the exact result, but it definitely it will give you the better result. But on classical it got struck. These are the a few example. Already we talked about this. Okay, the same problem we are talking earlier, considering a specific problem for a capacitor placement in a system. Here if you see this equation 3, simply we write our objective is supposed to minimize the power loss, and this whatever the value of I square are, and this the same problem we supposed to be solved by satisfying this equality constraint and inequality constraint. And here as of we are calculating the power loss, so here your P generation supposed to be whatever the demand on each node is over there plus whatever the power loss will be occurred, and this power loss we will calculate it out based on backward forward load flow method also we can calculate it out. And for the reactive power it's a Q generation plus whatever the capacitor injection is over there. If this injection is more than 1, so therefore we write it as CV, means candidate bus. How many candidate bus is over there? It's supposed to be the Q demand plus Q loss over there. These two equations we are supposed to be satisfied, and rather than this we have to check other inequality constraint. Now a few seconds ago I was supposed to talk about the independent variables and dependent variables. Now this inequality constraint, again we can say two parts. One is on independent variable, another is on dependent variable. Like this capacitor size constraint, if I consider all of the size of capacitor may not be available on market, so a specific size supposed to be there. So that constraint we can take care, though I have written over there directly in general, but it is not like this, a specific size. So we have to take care of this constraint. Another, total injection should not be more than the total demand, is again related with power factor and those things. These two are, we can say it is as independent variable. Now in independent variable, if we have 34 bus system, we can, if we assume we can't install capacitor on certain bank due to certain other reason, so at that time we will identify on which the node we are supposed to plant. Where we supposed to plant, we formulate this problem as a binary plus integer problem. If for optimization point of view, we will install, if capacitor bank is over there, it will show 1, if it is not there, it will show 0, and where the value of 1 is there, corresponding size of capacitor it will determine. So this integer's value will define in terms of 0 and 1, and it will be defined based on the its minimum and maximum value. If its value is L2 value, location 2 value is coming 0, so this QC2 value by default automatically it's supposed to be 0, but because that location is not suitable for capacitor placement, maybe certain region is over there, so its value should not be there. And coming to this dependent variable, here we have considered these two are as dependent variable, bias voltage and line capacity constraint. So bias voltage should not fall below a certain limit. If I consider this bias voltage is as BI minimum plus BI maximum, so it's supposed to be a certain value. If it's fall, then what we will do, we add this dependent variable function in our objective function. In our objective, if you see, earlier our objective function was constituted only this part, if you recall. Right now we have added this dependent part in our objective function by adding an penalty of lambda. By adding a penalty of lambda. Now to identify the lambda is again another trial and error based method via optimization. It will calculate it out. Professor Albert also talked yesterday about a little about this. And similarly we have added this another penalty factor over there. It is mainly for line loading. This how much loading is over there and of this. So final our objective function will become something like this. Here we are dealing for dependent variable based on penalty factor methods. Okay, this is basically for solving the problem. I have taken a random optimizer algorithm from this SWAM based a little about the story of this algorithm. It's developed by Deng Cheng in 2015. It's an kind of pairwise competition is done. I will relate this one with that problem. In this optimization, what happened if we have an nth number of SWAM is over there, initially an pairwise competition is carried out between any two of the SWAM, and based on the fitness, winner is passing to the next iteration and the loser is passing through the learning phase, and in learning phase their updates their positions and velocity based on certain equation. Is there in next slide, and then after learning from this update, it goes to the next iteration number 1. Now the same process will continue until and unless all of the competition is over there. So the rule to choose the population is supposed to be even number. If we choose the 10 number of SWAM is over there, then 5 competition will run. So that thing we have to take care for this optimizer algorithm. So this will help us to identify which combination is more suitable. Advantage of this algorithm compared to other algorithm like particle swarm optimizer algorithm. In particle swarm optimizer algorithm, generally they work based on local based and global based, but sometimes those algorithms got stuck in local based, they can't reach to the global based. So that was the issue with those algorithm. Even in genetic algorithm also lots of issues over there. Now but when we came to this algorithm, there is not this concept is there, local based and global based concept is not there. So it is done based on the competition. So always competition will be there, and when competition will be there, we will get one best one worst solution, and based on that we will able to identify the our optimal solution. Yes, this is the problem. We will utilize particle swarm optimizer for identifying your optimal location for capacitor. If, as I told, initially we have to select initialize the particles here, P1, P2 up to Pn. If we consider nth number of population size, so our this matrix size will be the m number of population, and this is our decision variables. P up to nth is our decision variable, and m is our population, number of population is over there. Now each of these population is generated based on these equations. Now for first one, if we consider what supposed to be the size, this size supposed to be the P of JL plus J of L, means it is indicating the lower value plus random into upper boundary minus lower boundary. Based on that we will generate initial population for first row, first column. Similarly we will calculate for first 1, 2, 1, 3 up to 1n, and for all of this population we will generate based on this equation. Now coming to this equation number 14, if we see in equation number 14, I told that we are supposed to install this capacitor bank over there. So all the location may not be available for placing. So here this lower boundary and upper boundary for location we have considered as 1 and 0. Upper end 1 and 0, and we use the random number, therefore we fix it, and if this value is less than 0.5, then we fix it at 0, and if it is more than 0.5, we fix it at 1. In this way we identify the location for this capacitor bank over there, and its corresponding output for the capacitor is determined based on the whatever the size of this capacitor we are available in market. Based on that we have determined this capacitor bank size. So this is a kind of a mixed integer problem, we can say, kind of. Thereafter, based on this, whatever the population we obtained, we are supposed to calculate the fitness function. How we will calculate the fitness function? Here we will put a certain value of 1 and there we will value maybe 400, 600, whatever the value. We will put this value and then we will calculate based on this whatever the power loss is coming out over there. Actually, what happened over there? We put a certain capacitor bank on certain node, we go for the distribution system load flow, we calculate whatever the power loss is over there, and this power loss is coming in equation based on, we will store in a matrix. Similarly, for second population, also we will calculate and we will save this data, or if I write as a fitness function, we will save this data in fitness function. Similarly, we will carry it out for third row and we will store its fitness function, and up to nth number of row we will store all of the fitness function over there. And then based on this fitness function, we will go for the pairwise competition. Now how, if I write it over there, here based on this value we will get a certain fitness function, maybe f of 1 for this, f of 2, f of 3 up to f of m. Now we obtain this fitness function and here CSO will came into the play. How? Here we see based on this fitness function, any random 2 population will be taken care and their fitness it will check. So here maybe f of 1 and f of 3 and their corresponding solution, they will check what are their corresponding solution based on its fitness function. If f of 3 is having better result, how it is a better result? Its maybe loss is reducing more, so it is having better result. So that time this corresponding solution will pass to next iteration, this corresponding solution. But this f of 1 will update based on what are the features available on f of 3. Based on that, it will update. So like this way, this pairwise competition will done for all of this, for all of the population. And when all of the fitness calculation is done, it will store in next iteration, and again the same process will keep on repeating. The same is written over there also. Initially we are supposed to calculate the fitness of all particles, then objective function value is calculated using equation number 1. Then competition between particles. How? It is an pairwise competition is performed between 2 particles and winner is supposed to be passed directly to next iteration swarm, whereas loser is supposed to be passed through the learning mechanism. And what is this learning mechanism? This learning mechanism we can update its value based on equation number 15 and equation number 16. In equation number 15, it's actually update its velocity. Now while we gone for the update its velocity, a certain equation has been developed actually, and this equation, if we see it out here, we utilize 3 random variables R1, R2 and R3. If my cursor is visible, if we see, this is R1, R2 and R3. These random variable values are usually in the range of 0 to 1 randomly generated value. As it is randomly generated value, that's why it is stochastic algorithm, and it will update its velocity based on whatever the winner's position was there. If you see x of wj is there, it is indicating the winner position of that winner velocity, x bar indicating the its mean value, this x of lj indicating its loser value. So based on this, its velocity will update. And here another parameter is also related, phi we can say, it is known as social factor. And for this optimizer algorithm, this social factor is kept on changing, and this changing in the range of again 0 to 1. In the range of 0 to 1, this social factor value is kept on changing. Based on optimizer algorithm, its value kept on changing. After updating this velocity, we can update its position of the loser value. Okay, and the moment loser is able to update, its updated population or updated string of the population will pass to the next iteration. And for this specific scenario, its location, we are talking about the capacitor location and size, both are dealing separately. So here roughly how it's deal we have shown over there. When we are generating its location based on earlier equation, random value equation, it range maybe lies in the range of 0 to 1. So maybe at this range, if it is above 0.5, we set it as 1. And correspondingly, we calculate whatever the value of the capacitor band. So it is the in between vertically a few line, dotted line is there. It is the actual size, whatever the available in market, we define based on that. If it is there, then it's okay. If it is not there, we have to update to next range. Now here, if you see the location number 1, it is as 1. So its corresponding certain capacitor value is shown over there. But for L2, it is 0. Now when L2 is 0, our final placement time, if you see, there is no capacitor is there, because this size is irrelevant for this scenario. This size is irrelevant because capacitor is not there. Why we supposed to go for identify this optimal size? If it is there, then only we will go for to identify the optimal size. Similarly, for L3, it is 1, so this value is supposed to be here. Similarly, nth number of consideration you may see, it is 0, so this consideration is not there. So this is the strategy we can adopt for controlling this, updating this problem or solving this problem. So this specific problem, our control variable is the location and size of capacitor, and these two are we are updating. Now it's again after you form the new particles and carry out this optimizer until and unless we achieve our tolerance criteria. In next PPT, actually it is for better understanding purpose, only for optimizer algorithm point of view. I will delete this optimizer algorithm with backward forward load flow and presence of a capacitor, how it is relevant. Initially we have to read all of the system data is over there. Here system data mainly indicating whatever the line load and whatever the line data and load data is over there, and based on that we will supposed to generate the population. Earlier we have shown how the population is generated, and then we are supposed to calculate all of the fitness function. How we will calculate the fitness function? Whatever the our random generation of population is there, based on this random generation of population, we are supposed to calculate. Not visible. Watch it. Actually, here we are supposed to calculate this fitness function for power loss, considering whatever the initial population. Then we will set iteration count. Then we will select a random pair. If I consider random pair for ith iteration as 1 and 2, it will check which one is having higher fitness value. If you see over there, if winner is having higher fitness value, it is directly passes to the next iteration. If loser, then what it have to do? It have to go through the update its velocity and position based on the earlier equation, what is shown in equation number 15 and 16. And this process will carry it out until and unless we have reached to our last pair. The moment we have reached to our last pair, then we have to check whether our iteration is reached to its maximum value or tolerance. Here, if we set this tolerance criteria or iteration criteria, based on that we will check whether it reached to maximum value or not. If reached, we will stop and we will display our best combination, whatever is over there. Whatever best combination is over there, we will display it. So, while we solve this fitness calculation, we may require backward forward load flow technique over there. Let's say, okay, why it is required? We installed additional part to the system. With this updated part, we will carry out the load flow study again, and based on that load flow study, we will calculate fitness function, and based on that fitness function, we go for CSO algorithm, and from CSO algorithm, this process will keep going on until and unless our final objective is achieved or near close to our objective we achieved. Okay, let me see what is there. Okay, it is 69 bus system. Normal 69 bus system is over there. It's in general system data is given over there. Active power demand is 3.8 megawatt and reactive power demand is 2.6 MBAR. Now, when we gone for the capacitor placement problem, whatever the steps we have discussed, based on that, if we solve this capacitor placement problem, we have carried out a few of the result over there. Several optimizer algorithm we have used over there to obtain this result. A few are cited in certain literature is also there. In initial condition, its losses when there is no capacitor is over there, it's coming around 224.8 kW tentatively kilowatt. But when we use PSO or any other algorithm, it losses has been reduced a lot, in the range of 30% reduction we has obtained over there. With the help of PSO, it's coming 152.48, and its best location or corresponding solution is shown where this capacitor is supposed to be placed. Its corresponding solution is over there. Similarly, if we gone for the DEPS, that time its corresponding solution, they have chosen 6 locations and their corresponding value is shown over there. Lots of tens of algorithm comparison has been carried out, and it can be seen with the help of CSO. Here a few algorithms are calculated based on local and global based or some other philosophy, but while we gone for that CSO algorithm, its losses is come down to around 145 kilowatt, which is 35.5% lesser with respect to its uncompensated methods. And total injection of reactive power, if we see, it is around this one. So we can say this CSO is kind of help us to reduce its losses significantly. Okay, there is main important in CSO algorithm, we have talked about the social factor, one parameter. And how this social factor plays an important role. To see it, we have done this parametric analysis. A parametric analysis when we vary this social factor from the range to 0.1 to 1. From the range to 0.1 to 1, if you see, 0.1 to 1, and its population is we vary from the range to 10 to 100. Then we may see that best combination we are getting when our social factor is at 0.4 for the combination of population of 30. If we increase this size of the population, we may see some problem in terms of convergence time. This convergence become a slight slower because population is higher, so iteration time will take more iteration time. Okay, now we had for this scenario we achieve best population for when population is 30 and its social factor was 0.4. This is a graph for the normal base loading. This all of the analysis we consider when our system is at 100% loading, and we have considered only constant power load. For constant power load, this assumption is carried out. So this is our best combination we can see over there. It's then partially parametric studies we have carried out. Now I am moving ahead. If we consider capacitor along with any renewable source presence over there, so what's supposed to be the best combination? And we can solve the same problem with CSO or any other optimizer algorithm. I am talking about only result right now. And thereafter, if my objective is not to minimize the power loss, at the same time we are supposed to minimize the operating cost also. Can we minimize both of the problem at the same time? Yes, definitely we can solve the same problem at the same time. It's known as a multi-objective function. We can use multi-objective function. We'll solve this one. Here this is a simple power loss equation and operating cost calculation formula. We have carried it out. Is we have considered certain K1, K3, K2, K3 certain value. This value are constant, but KL is keep on changing. QSC is depend how much injection supposed to be there. PDG is again how much injection is supposed to be there. It is number of shunt capacitor is over there. Based on it, we formulate this. Formulate this objective function. So basically we have two objective function, equation number 19 and 21. Now if we suppose to solve this both of this objective function simultaneously, do read it as a multi-objective MO, not MO2. It is a multi-objective. It's supposed we can convert this multi-objective to a single objective problem by considering weight sum methods. If we considering the weight sum methods, we will provide a certain weight to this and certain weight to this. Here this weight of W1 and W2 weight supposed to be equal to 1. If we provide the more weight on power loss as per requirement of a customer, we may see that the power loss is reduced more, but at the same time the operating cost may be high because we are providing a more capacitor injection over there and a certain thing is there. Now when you are injecting more capacitor or number of microgrid or DGs over there, definitely your cost will be little higher side. So based on that, which one you want to choose, a trade-off between these two objective functions we can carry it out. So therefore we formulate this problem as weight sum methods. Is a part of multi-objective function, we can say. Mainly we convert this multi-objective again into a single objective problem, and here also like earlier all of the constant is there, whether it is active power, whether it is a reactive power, and the equality constraint. Similarly for all the inequality constraint is also there, voltage constraint, thermal limit constraint, and active reactive power constraint is also over there. And based on that if I gone for the calculation of for different combinations of this, when we place single dg over there, when we place a single dg over there and we solve the problem with three optimizer algorithm. One is for competitive swarm optimizer algorithm, another is for PSO, particle swarm optimizer algorithm, and third one is for genetic algorithm. We may see loss, yes, active power loss has been a certain reduction is over there, but when for 2dg it's reduced further, and most reduced we are having an 2dg and 2sc placement is over there. Certain combination is there. I am not showing the optimal outcome, I am just showing in terms of solution. So this is our solution, and in this solution also, if we see this CSO is slightly lesser with respect to PSO and GA. The same problem for second single objective, when we solve, here our observation is 2dg and 2sc provide the better result in terms of loss minimization point. Here we solve it as a single objective. Now when we solve it as an second objective, this operating cost minimization, then also we see in terms of 2dg and 2sc it's providing minimum cost. If we see it's this combination is providing minimum cost, and best one is for CSO in terms of cost. So ultimately we, for this analysis we can conclude it is the best combination, and with this best combination, when we solve the problem as a multi-objective problem, we obtained this kind of result. It is known as a Pareto optimality solution. Pareto optimality solution we have obtained, and we obtained several set of optimizer algorithm solution. Now if you see the moment if we can choose this solution. If we choose this solution, then we can say our losses is on higher side, but our operating cost is on lower side. And here what happened, our operating cost is on higher side, but losses is on our lower side. So it is, we can say it is depend on customer which option they would like to prefer to choose. So therefore such kind of solution is known as a best compromise solution, we can say. So in a lump sum way, for the certain understanding purpose, I have shown this may be the best optimal solution if we satisfying 50-50 weight. Here actually what happened, we provide a more weight to P loss, not P loss, more weight to operating cost and less weight to this P loss. Therefore we obtain power losses on higher side with respect to cost, and it is vice versa. But here possibly, I don't recall what was the weight is for this solution, possibly 50% of weight is we have provide, and therefore we obtained this solution. And such kind of solution is known as a Pareto optimality solution. Further, the same problem we can solve some other optimizer technique is also there. We are not discussing that one today. We can solve based on some other optimizer technique also, and eventually we can identify which one is the best method. R method we can utilize a method named as R method to identify the best solution also. So that is, I think, okay, that is okay. If any query from your side. Cost.
Then we can find out very easily
Yes.
which point will be more economical than compared.
Yes, actually when we minimize the cost, cost is a partially part of losses also. That is also true, partially.
If I convert it to the obviously I can find out which
Yes, we can find out a little.
Cost as far as electricity is concerned, the generating cost.
Mm.
That is the more merit order dispatch.
Yes.
Variable cost and fixed cost. So
Mm.
these are the major portion. Okay? Ancillary services cost. So
Yes.
that can be handled by other one. But the generation cost and the demand supply, that market clear price, they might have other solution. But that output contains your major portion. But the cost as electricity cost is concerned, it is already generated and transmitted in the line. So every unit contains only ancillary services cost.
Here actually we have considered a distribution system which is just connected to a grid 69 bus system. From that point of view, we have take care. We didn't focus too much whatever the tariff is over there. Definitely we can take care of that.
Cost is decided by the generating company.
What my point is, if I am able to reduce the losses, that energy will be utilized to acumen.
Yes, he is talking about the loss of cost.
While selection of any one solution,
Okay, sir. But once the loss is calculated, by current charges, it can be converted into rupees. Na? So, but the loss is
my
more
point is
important.
losses if I measured in terms of cost. Because
I got
this
it.
graph is comparing between cost versus losses. Both are not similar units, so if I compare in both are not similar units to compare.
Yes, we can calculate it
But the
out.
cost
It's
is
an
varying, na?
function.
It's a totally variable cost, short-term variable cost. There are various costs. So again, it depends on the cost of oil also. Micro and micro.
That cost if I could have calculated by using equal parameter.
Yes,
That would be the point. Yeah.
loss of cost we can calculate actually, na?
Micro and macro changes also we have to take into account.
Here we can calculate actually in loss of cost also. We have to take care. Rather than this, we have some other component we have to take care. Loss of cost is yes, it's a part.
That is handled by other.
Hmm. Take care. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobhan, for your insightful lecture. So we are having a tea break. So just ensure that the tea has